I had a guy ask me to go through the process of buying a house. Now, this is a very long, drawn out process, so it'll take quite a few videos. But I believe I'm just going to start today from the beginning, and we'll just work our way through it over a period of weeks here and take you all the way through the buy process. And some of it may seem fairly elementary, but that's okay. We all have to start somewhere, and some are going to know more than others. Let's dive into it really quick. The first thing you run into on a real estate contract is your name, your legal name. You want to make sure that you know how you're going to take title to the property. You have two types of title here in Kansas that we use. One is joint tenancy and the other is tenants in common. But if you are, for instance, you and your wife are buying a home, you both agree that if one should pass on, the home should go just right on over to the other one, then you're going to want a joint tenancy deed. You want to take title to the home, joint tenancy. That way, if one passes, it goes right over to the other one. Let's say you and your sister are buying an investment property. You're outside of an LLC or a legal partnership. You're just buying it, just the two of you. Then you would probably want a joint tenancy, because then if one of you passes, it doesn't go to the other one. It goes to the heirs of the deceased. It doesn't automatically revert over to the other person. It goes this way to the heirs of the deceased. So if you're in a partnership type thing, like I said, a brother and a sister buy in and they're both married and they want their half to go to their spouse or to their children. We're on the first line of the contract and we've already got into details, right? When you go to put your name down on there, be sure and discuss how you want to take title to that property. Joint tenancy or tenants in common. Who should go on the contract? I recommend whoever is approved by the lender, especially if it's like a VA where the veteran is the only one that has the VA benefits. They're really the only one that should go on that contract is the veteran. If both of you are approved for your mortgage, then go ahead and put both of you on there. So I would put the full legal name of the person that is approved for the mortgage. For instance, let's say maybe one of you has had a divorce and you have some really bad credit, so you can't be approved. You can come back and after the closing and the title company for a small fee will go ahead and add your name to the deed. Just to keep from muddling things up, you can do that after the closing. Just go back to your closing company and they can take care of that. Now let's talk about the sellers really quick. So your agent probably, if not, you should ask for it. Ask to look at the county records and see who the county has as sellers of record on there. And the reason why you want to do this is because Bill and Joe Harrington are the owners of record, and you write an offer and it goes over to the sellers, and then the offer comes back accepted, but there's only one signature on there. If in fact that is the way it is, you don't have a contract yet because you need to have both seller signatures on that contract. So when you're looking at line 2, who the sellers are, you might want to do a little investigation and see the best you can who the sellers are. Now there's things that happen, there's deaths and transfer on death deeds and different things that'll change that up. So you can't be too hard and fast on it, but it's kind of nice to check into it and see who the sellers are. And then if you're not sure, leave that blank. Have your agent leave that blank on the contract and let the seller's agent fill it in correctly so that we have the right names on there. And then of course make sure that whoever's in that line has also signed the contract, so your contract is valid. Okay, the next thing that you have on the contract after you've got your legal name and how you want to take title to the property, you have the sellers the best you know, or you've identified them but you're going to let the seller's agent put that in there, is you have to have the address. And so my recommendation just across the board is to put in the address that is recognized by the United States Postal Service. That is going to be your best address to use. Use your address, make sure you have the state zip code and all that stuff in there. And the very next thing you're going to come to on the contract is legal description. And I'm going to do that in the next video because legal description is a big topic that we need to make sure we get right because it is super critical. So one thing I want to say in closing with starting this little lesson that we're going to do about how to write a contract is keep this in mind before you ever start on the contract. When you sit down with your realtor and you've decided you want to go buy a house, Keep this in mind. Once you start this contract, you've started something. When you're sitting at the table waiting to write this contract and then you're going to present it, that seller is off doing something. They're probably at a basketball game watching the kids, doing this, doing that. And then bam, their agent shows up with the contract and their life changes. They start making plans, they start boxing, they start getting arrangements for different schools, they start doing. So while you're doing all this stuff on this side, the contract has totally changed the seller's life at the same time, and it affects a lot of people. My caution to you is before you make an offer, make sure you want the house. Make sure that you are committed to what you're getting ready to write and sign, because it's going to make a world of difference in a lot of people's lives. So it's very serious business that you're getting ready to go into here. We're going to start and run through this. It's going to take several videos, but I just wanted to go through this and make sure that people understand, because I've had the request and I think it's very helpful. So make your comments, like and subscribe. We'd love it if you did that. And as always, I want you to have a very blessed day.